Good morning, folks. Time once again to do some CSS battles from the past. These are at CSSBattle.dev. These is March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of 2024. Let's get right to it. This shape is certainly an interesting one. I believe what I did last time is I made one corner of this as an image. Did margin 0, and then a height of 150, which is half the height, and then a width 200, and then I created each of this as a so linear gradient to do this white, a linear gradient to do this white, and then a radial gradient to do this. Today, I feel inclined to do something similar, but not the same. What I'd like to do is set the background like that. Yeah. And then have this background be white. And I want to do display flex. And then I'm going to turn that into a triangle. Part of that is going to be, what's that going to be? That's going to be line items center, justify content center. Okay, and I'm going to need some kind of a gap probably. But we'll see. And then I'm going to add another one. And then the second one, I'm going to flop. So when I create a clip path here, clip path, that makes that into a triangle, and it's the top corner is 0, 0. Next corner is 100%, 50%, right? And then 0, 100%. There's your triangle. So let's get the height right and the width right. 140, so 130, 20, 110, 100, 99, 98, 97, 96, 25, 24. Now this is very much dependent on what that gap is. If the gap is 0, is it any better? Maybe. How about 95, 100, 90, wow, 89, 88. I'm just kind of adjusting those values, and I get kind of the effect, but getting the angles to line up is certainly tricky. What if I did something like ridiculous, like 60, and then go backwards? 70, 80, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89. 0.5, 0.7, 0.8. So that is a kind of a silly way to do that, but it is certainly kind of working. All right, so let's do the radial gradient in the middle, and then we'll reckon with whether this is going to work. I don't know this is going to work. We're going to find out. Circle. But pretty cool effect, right? 2, yeah, there's 20%. All right. So next, we want these vertical ones. To do that, we're going to add an attribute of v, We're going to see what we need to do, because that makes everything much more complex. I think what we need now is we need a flex wrap, which ruins everything. Yeah, that ruins everything. Why? I think because of the default margins on the paragraph tag. Ooh. Okay. Oh, what did I just do there? Yeah, okay. So let's do B, and we'll do display none. And everything is crazy wrong now. So let's remove those. Oh, so many different problems that I've introduced. How about if I... So that's really interesting. The flex wrap is applying even though it looks like we're kind of good, but we're not good. We are clearly not good. All right. So then, what do we need to do to accomplish this wacky task? I think what it means is that if we add another element, it has to be display or position fix. All right, so let's do that. And then when we add these V attributes, it'll take it out of the flow. And there is the position fixed element. And then I'll change the color, because otherwise, what are we looking at? There it is. So that's our element. So this rotate 90 degrees. And then what if we used margins to move that? Kind of working. Kind of works. Maybe. All right, and then let's address the second one of these. We'll give this one a ridiculous color too. There it is. And we're going to do a further rotate 180 degrees to 70 degrees. Oh, because I have the syntax wrong. It should be rotate colon 180 degrees and no parentheses, and there it is. Okay, oh, and that's a further rotate. So we want minus 90 probably. 90. There it is. And then there's a margin, and we're going to want a negative margin probably. And it goes, slots right into place. Interesting symmetries. Let's, so there's a lot of little errors there that make me think maybe this is not working. Let's find out. 99.9%, the dreaded 99.9%. But that's fair. We're doing this really weird way. How about we shift? So I'm adjusting these margins, thinking that will help. It might not. What if we adjust these margins? so this might be a bad idea. Or something about the rotate is causing us problems. But it's not working how I wish it to. So what can we do about that? So rather than, rotate, what if we change the clip path? So what if we said clip path none? That then gives us a little bit better of a look. And then we'll use fix to put these into place very precisely. It's interesting that that's not appearing right at the top. Okay, so position fixed. I do top 0. Does it put itself in the right place? No, it does not. Do we have a default margin or a margin that's applying? Maybe, yeah. How about margin 0? That's giving me what I want. There we go. Okay. So these are fixed. Width 40. 50, 60, 70, 80, 70. And then our height needs to be taller. Probably the way I'm doing this is not good. It's not really sustainable. But I kind of love a challenge here. Top unset and bottom 0. So this is more about fixed positioning elements, right? And then we're going to do a scale -1 to make that one upside down, the second one, and now we're going to give that clip path, instead of none, we're actually going to make this triangle. Upper corner 0, 0. Upper right corner 100% 0. Bottom center 50%, 100%. Okay. Oh, and then that scale is now wrong. Oh, I see. So scale here. Yeah. That's almost working. What if we do a different height? 30, 35, 36, 37, 38. Now up here we had to adjust that height very precisely. How about 150? 160? No, that's too tall. 150, 49, 38, 7, 36, 45, 44, 43, 42. Let's submit that and find out. %. This makes me think that all of this approach is wrong, unfortunately. Now, I believe, all right, I think we got to nuke this whole plan. Bad plan. Bummer. And find out whether my friend, my really good friend, the conic gradient, can help us out here. I am skeptical. Can we make that work? Are those radiating lines directly from the center? If they are, we can make it work. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, there is still a little bit of imprecision there that is not great. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 65. And then white to 70 degrees. Add the next color. 0, 120 degrees. Will do. 70, 80, 90. And then that color. And white, 0. So this needs to get bigger. 30, 40, 50, 55. And then this color again. So we're basically just going all the way around. $70, $80. Okay. Need the white again. 200 degrees. 0 to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 45. Okay. This is not looking right, unfortunately, which is probably why I didn't do it this way. 80 degrees to 80. And then color. To 80 to 90. 80. 70 to 70. 0, 300 degrees, and then white is our final color stop. 300 to 10, 20, 30, 35. You just see that the perfect contour gradient just isn't perfect. It's not working how we want it to work. So, but stick with it. Circle, and I believe we know that that is white, and it's 20%, or we think it's certainly close, and then transparent. Let's submit that. If this is it, then I'm going to be surprised, because I think that this is the same lesson that I learned whenever I did this before, which was, no, this is not the way to do that. 99.8%. So that's a perfect radiating gradient, and with the angles entered from the center, and unfortunately I think they're not from the center. That's the issue. That is the issue. Okay, so we're gonna go with my favorite technique. That's 4 elements to represent each quadrant. The first one is flopped on its x-axis. The third one is flopped on the y-axis, and the last is flopped on both. To represent that, we need a body with a 0 margin, and the elements too. So actually we can do star, display, flex, no, we don't need that. We need margin 0, display flex. We need flex wrap. Oh, star can have margin 0. Display wrap. Paragraph tags have a width of 200 and a height of 150. Background red. So that filled it up. We've got 5, and then we need a scale of var dash dash x or 1 and var dash dash y or 1. And then on these attributes, x, we set those variables. X is minus 1. And then on the y, we do the same thing. And don't have a template for, I might add that to my plugins because I do use this pattern. I've used this pattern several times. All right, so when I do a background, linear gradient at some angle, any angle, 40 degrees, red, yellow, that will have a symmetry to it. So, and if I make that acute, 40 pixels, make that sharp, and that's doing what I want. That has got the symmetry that I intend. So, what background do I actually want? Radial gradient. Circle at 100%, 100%. F, F, F. Let's call it 20%, and then do this blue color. And that kind of works. And then what's the thing that we need? How about a linear gradient? At some angle. Of white and then blue. No space is allowed between. There we go. 150. That gets at what's the angle? 21, 22, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. That's pretty good. 45. That's pretty good. 13. It's likely to be a weird half number. 2, 3, 4, 3.5. 1, 2, 3. So that's getting at it. Still not quite right, but I have more confidence that we're gonna have a shot at getting at 100% without me going into my old solutions. I'm adjusting these ham-handedly. All right. 50. Just keep adjusting and adjusting. And we're kind of where we were, but it's far more. I was going to say it was far more readable. I don't think it is. These are tricky things. I mean, it also makes me think that a clip path would be just as easy. And whenever you're in that situation, you're probably making a mistake of some kind. All right. Okay. So 50. was wrong. $15, $14, $13. That looks pretty good. Let's do the same treatment. I tend to try to create a very visible error, and what I want is to see a very, very straight line based on the angle, and those are tapering, so it helps me see the error, let's say. Let's submit that. I don't think it's right, but it's close. I think we're okay left to right, but top bottom we're not okay. All right. So what's that angle? It's also possible that I won't get this, unfortunately. And it's also, additionally, it's possible that some of these angles ought not be exactly the same thing. So, like, that looks better there. So between 196, it looks okay on this side, but not okay on this side. And then 195, it looks okay on this side and not that side. So let's make this a variable, even though, you know, that's kind of ridiculous. We'll call that variable. We'll call that variable u, or 195, and then we need whatever's got u on it to have a value of minus or 196 pixels dash u 196 pixels. So which ones need that? It's the second and fourth. And that looks better. Let's submit that and see. Not fixed. All right, so I'm going to cut bait here, and I'm going to show you whatever my working example is, which is it is remarkably similar. A body, display flex wrap, margin of 0, and then we have a paragraph tag, right? So p, px, py, pxy. And my style here is a transform, scale, var, whatever. We can adapt that code. We're going to remove those defaults, and instead of using transform scale, we just use scale colon var dash dash x, or 1, no comma, and then var dash dash y, or 1. And we don't need extraneous parens. And our background is a circle at 100%, 100%, exactly what I was doing. I believe we can do 20% there. Let's submit that and make sure that we're still in good position. And then we've got that same radial gradient, a circle at 100%, 100%, colors 20%, and then transparent, and then a linear gradient at 13 degrees, white 44 pixels, and then a linear gradient at minus 103 degrees, white at 30 pixels, and then we've got a width and height of 150, 200 and 150, and that's it. And that is the solution, and that's exactly what I was trying to get back to. What I was doing wrong and why I was not seeing it correctly. I don't know. When you look at the diff here, there are little bits of variation. Some of these are just, very, very specific. I bet there are better ways to do this. There is if you are a Plus subscriber, as I am, and can get these, you can also get to Top Solutions. I don't usually look at those. I have to be in the mood to look at other people's code. The code tends to be, the Top Solutions are very hard to read. And if I can't understand it, what good is that to me? Perhaps that's naive. Sometimes I've learned from absorbing other solutions, but I find it slightly less appealing to read code that's extraordinarily hard to read. This is hard enough, but at least I understand the pieces. I can hold them in my mind. If I can hold them in my mind, I feel good about that. And that's expanded and changes. And the reason I do these again and again is to try to understand and learn. So, all right, that's enough on that one. Thank you for bearing with me on that. All right, so what's this shape? This is, relatively innocuous, considering what we got going on. I think this is 2 elements. And the question is, what's the right way to create these elements? I think that we put margins on the body, or margins on the element, and then try to cover it entirely by setting the margins. So 4, 5, 6. So any part that's dark, we want to put an element over it. 63, 4, 5. Okay. And then 1, 2, okay, and then this margin is kind of wrong. So the second margin is something like 100, and then the third margin is 0, which is the bottom, and then our height needs to be correct. 5, 50, 60, 70. 102. So that's the element we're going to create. And then we'll need a second one. And to do that, we'll adapt these margins. It's 65 on the top. We'll try 65. That's probably not right. It's probably more like, 20? And then I think we flop the left and right margins. So the second one will be 62, then 0, and then 112. And of course, we need to put a second one in place. There it is. So this top margin, 30? 30. There it is. And if we scale it, then whatever we do here will account for what we're doing. And I think this is the same gradient twice with slightly different background position. So let's do radial gradient, circle at 50%, 0, 50%, 100% rather. Color, no, transparent, probably. And then the dark color. And then transparent again to let things through. And then that's going to be okay, so let's put numbers on those. 20%, 0, 30%, 0. Too small. And already I can kind of see a problem. I think that means that we need to move it vertically. So let's make these bigger. And let's do pixels, because that's just going to be easier to deal with. 40, 60 pixels. So that's, so it's not a semicircle, is it? No, it is not. Question is that all a circle? So this 50%, 100% is incorrect. What if we do not at 50%, 100%, but 50%, 95? And then the vertical is 0. $90. If the height is 70, is it something like 60 pixels? Almost. Is this then 35? Look at that. All right, so let's, this is a tricky one. I don't remember this one, but it is trickier than I thought. I'm going to use a variable to put one of these in place, var -- g. There's the first one. And then the next one, we're going to put over a little bit further. I also, because the height of this is 100%, we don't need a second vertical position because we're really just altering one. So let's do, so isn't that interesting? That is super duper interesting. So what do we need to do to make this work? I think what that means is that we would need a linear gradient that's very, very, very specific. A linear gradient that is at it's 70 pixels. So let's say it's 10 pixels tall. That could be correct. That means it's going to be at 0 and then 60 pixels. And then it's going to be 50% wide, let's say, and then 10 pixels tall. And that's going to be, and then it's going to repeat on the x-axis only. So we got color, and let's do red just to be funky. That's what that looks like. And it needs to be coming in from the side, so it's 90 degrees. That certainly looks like it's covering things. And is this 50%? No, it's really not 50%. And probably it's a bad idea to try to make it. So let's do no repeat. No repeat. So we have a really, really, really good sense of what we're doing. And let's do very contrasting color. Oh, and I guess probably we want to put this over top of everything, don't we? So we can really see it very well. There we go. So the width is wrong. 50% is not the correct width. Is it like 40? 45? Yeah, probably not. Let's do a pixel value, 100 pixels. How about 90 pixels? 90 could be right. So let's do a percentage here for fun. See if we can get that. So again, adjusting that, and then put that to no, repeat X. All right, now let's swap those colors. Red should be a covering green, and yellow should be this. Let's submit that. Is that correct? Oh, no, it's not correct. Look at those errors. That's probably, 30 pixels. 30 pixels. I know that's not 100%. I didn't even look. Yeah, it's 98.9%. Let's try that. I think that's it. That is 100%. So pretty intriguing, interesting shape there. We're going to variabilize this so we can do --m down here. A technique I like a lot. And then we clean up. If it's 70, it's 70 pixels tall. 10 pixels out of 70 is it's so yeah, it's fine. We'll unit replace and minify and then we're done. It's a good one. It's a very, very clever puzzle, and you can't use just a radial gradient, right? That's a better score than I've gotten in the past, apparently. So that's fun too. All right. Oh, this guy. This is a fun one. I have done this many ways. Today I feel like it's the box shadow day. Like I really, really kind of love the simplicity. It's very easy to work with, which I really like. And I think there's only 2 elements that we're making. We're going to make a wide one and the tall one. And that's it. And then we're just going to do box shadows galore. So our background is white. And then our color is also white. So those are the 2 elements. P plus P is going to have another margin M of 0, 0, 0, 0. Let's say we'll do margin M or a default of 2060. Right now is what we got. Okay, so we're going to adjust these margins, and the height is also going to be a variable var dash H. Okay, so we're going to make the first long one right here. So what do we need? It's probably more like 30 tall. That's great. Great. 7, 8, 9, 10, 100, 102. That's right. Oh, and actually, we don't want to do the stem. We want to do this one. We want to do the lower one. Yeah, that's the one we want. Yeah, I like that. So that's the first one we're going to do. And then the second one we're going to do has a height of 100 or something. And he's got a negative margin on the top. Great. 120, 1.10 there. Oh, and that's not the one I made. Again, I want to do this one, not that, not this stem. So we need to go over more. This last one is too high. One 80, 190. There it is. So this one gets higher. 3, 4, 5, 6. And our height is wrong. How about 80? Oh no, not 90. Now, border radius. 10Q, 20Q. That looks right. All right, now we've got colors. We've got the two shapes that we care about. So let's do box shadows. Box shadow is var s. And then I'm going to put a var s just so I don't confuse myself. Var s, or there's a box shadow. And we want that over more. Yeah, 110. Yep. There it is. So let's do this one too. And then for this one, we'll do this one, var minus 10 pixels, minus 20 pixels, 50 pixels. Okay. 30, 100, 150, 100, 110. That's what we got now. I know, kind of silly. Next. So this is the horizontal one. We need to go what, up. Don't forget your commas. That's pretty great. All right, so that's one, and then let's do this one down here. Minus S, no, okay. That's too low. There's another one. And then let's do some of these vertical ones too. So minus 140 pixels. Too far horizontally. 80, 70, D60, 70, 80. And is there some pattern where we can do something clever, or do we just need to double up all these guys, right? I think that's kind of what we need to do. Okay, so the next one is 50 pixels minus 30 pixels. There it is. Too high, 2, 10. There it is. 6, 4. Okay. So that's that. Now we need more. So minus 80 pixels. Don't forget your commas. Oh, and then we've got an extra comma now. So this is the one we added. That means this minus 70 is fine, but we need to go 90. There it is, or maybe 80. Cool. And then, so that's the vertical one. So we want this next one, 40 pixels minus 10 pixels. No, that's wrong. Also did that wrong. That should be 40 and minus 10, or actually 20. Or no, 30. There it is. So more box shadows, more stuff. And you can see what that is. If I do red here, you can see those are all box shadows. Right? So that's how I'm doing this and why I'm doing this. I know it is a goofy solution. I admit that. But 30 pixels minus 40 pixels, I think it's a little bit easier to look at those and know what the next step is. 130 pixels, 70 pixels. Ah, no, it's actually 80 pixels. And that's it. That gets you. So these are 2 elements and a bunch of box shadows, a bunch of them. Is that too much code? Could you do this with rotates? Could you create cutout shapes? Could you optimize and not do a border radius that's uniform and instead have part of this be a background? Could you do this all with conic gradients or with the radial gradients that repeat? Dun, dun, dun. Yes, you could. You could do this with elements and then also have some border radiuses on the elements. Many ways to do this one. Super fun, pretty much as complicated as it is. I enjoyed that one. Like I said, I've never done it this way, but I like doing it that way, and that's apparently better code, or at least shorter code golf. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I think this was a little bit of a long one, partly because of this one, reckoning with this, and I had to go back into old code to get that one to work correctly. And then this one was a lot of fun, and that one's probably the most fun, which is a nice way to end that up. And this is we're now into March 2024. I think I've done 60% of this backlog of CSS battles, the daily targets. If you've got a Plus membership, you can go do these and find your own solutions and prove me wrong, saying you're doing it all wrong, Crawford. Anyway, have a great day. Make a web page. It's awesome. Bye.